Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan.
And I'm Piruni Karnaratna. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. CID takes 2-hour statement from Gotabaya Rajapakse over land and construction. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan sentenced to 14 years in prison. 20% reduction in electricity tariffs recommended by the Public Utilities Commission. Final decision pending guidance from the Ministry of Finance, says the Ministry of Power. Acting IGP elaborates on cleansing the police.
මම විශ්වාස කරන දේ තමයි අපිට සාමාන්‍ය නීතිය ඒ ආකාරයෙන්ම බලන්න. මහජනතාව විශ්වාස කරන තමයි පොලිසිය බලය පවත්වාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්.
2 T-56 firearms discovered in Mathura and Valikanda. Signs of vehicle imports resuming from early February. ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup begins tomorrow. Live broadcast on TV1.
On to those stories in detail. President Anura Kumara, currently on a 4-day state visit to China, met today with the Secretary of the Sichuan Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China.
According to the President's media division, this meeting is expected to elevate the relationship between Sri Lanka and the Sichuan province, a leader in economic development, to a new level.
President Thisara is scheduled to return to Sri Lanka today, concluding his visit to China.
During the discussions, both sides explored the potential to elevate economic, trade, cultural, tourism and intergovernmental relations between Sichuan and Sri Lanka to new heights. Sichuan's significant achievements in various sectors, including energy, were acknowledged, and the President invited the Secretary of the Sichuan province to share their expertise and success stories with Sri Lanka. President Thisara emphasized that Sri Lanka is currently on a path to economic stabilization under a transparent and investor-friendly administration. He noted that the country is at a critical political turning point, with the current government empowered by a 2/3 majority granted by a united population from the north, east, west and the south. The government is fully committed to meeting the expectations placed upon it by its citizens. Additionally, the President underscored Sri Lanka's attractiveness as a destination for Chinese tourists and extended a warm invitation to the people of Sichuan to visit the island and experience its exceptional hospitality.
Former Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapakse provided a statement to the Criminal Investigation Department today regarding a construction project on a plot of land within the Maniganga Reserve in Katharagama.
Former Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapakse arrived at the CIT around 11 am to provide a statement and left at approximately 1 pm.
Even a child knows that you cannot obtain an electricity connection for a property without proper documentation. If Gotabaya Rajapakse had obtained electricity for this property, such record should be with the CID. It is unacceptable to question a former president based on assumptions that G. Rajapakse means Gotabaya Rajapakse and to create media spectacles. This is deeply regrettable. Gotabaya Rajapakse is distressed by the government's actions, especially since he was not even in the country when this incident occurred. We urge the authorities to refrain from such frivolous actions.
The CID is currently investigating the construction on a plot of land within the irrigation reserve between the Katharagama Depot Road, the Katharagama Port Authority Rest House and the Manik River. The investigation focuses on the illegal acquisition of government land, the use of military personnel and government resources for construction, and Gotabaya Rajapakse's involvement in the project. In early January 2010, a newspaper first revealed details about this issue, questioning the ownership of the property by publishing water and electricity bills. The CID has already obtained statements from Neville Wanyarachi, a security officer of former President Mahinda Rajapakse, and Yoshitha Rajapakse, the former president's son, regarding this property. Gotabaya Rajapakse was summoned to the CID today in connection with this ongoing investigation.
Shifting your attention to a headline-making international news item this evening, Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan was today sentenced to 14 years in prison and his wife Bushra Bibi to 7 years.
Pakistani former Prime Minister Imran Khan was today sentenced to 14 years in prison and his wife Bushra Bibi to 7 years in a case related to the misuse of authority and corruption involving Khan's Al-Qadir University Project Trust. Khan was also given a fine of 1 million Pakistani rupees, while Bibi was fined half that amount. An accountability court operating from Adiala jail in Rawalpindi, where Khan has been imprisoned since August 2023, had served its verdict in December last year and deferred the announcement 3 times. Bibi was arrested from the court premises. Khan, who did not appear before the court on the 13th of January, when the decision was delayed for a 3rd time, had earlier claimed the delays were an attempt to pressurize him. This marks the 4th major case in which the former Prime Minister has been convicted. 3 earlier convictions announced in January last year were related to selling state gifts, leaking state secrets and unlawful marriage, all of which were overturned or suspended. Despite this, Khan remains behind bars with dozens of cases pending against him, a situation he describes as a political witch hunt. Khan was first arrested in connection with the Al-Qadir Trust case in May 2023, spending less than 2 days in detention. However, the arrest led to nationwide protests during which Khan's supporters rioted in multiple cities. Faisal Farid Chowdhury, Khan's lawyer, condemned the decision as a continuation of quote-unquote bogus persecution against Khan and his wife.
Thisara Danayakara, who was in remand custody on charges of defrauding money by promising employment in Finland, was granted bail by the Gampaha Magistrate Court today. The bail decision was made during his court appearance this morning.
Thisara Danayakara, the brother of former Minister of Foreign Employment Manusha Danayakara, was arrested by officers of the Criminal Investigation Department on the 28th of last month. He was accused of defrauding 3 million rupees by falsely promising employment opportunities in Finland. The case was heard today before Gampaha Magistrate Silani Pereira. The magistrate ordered his release on 3 surety bails of 10 million rupees each, and the sureties excluding his wife must be close relatives. Additionally, the magistrate imposed a travel ban on Thisara Danayakara and his sureties. The magistrate also instructed that the bail conditions be fulfilled in open court. Balapitiya police informed the court today that another case has been filed against Thisara Danayakara for a 500,000 rupee foreign employment fraud. As a result, the police requested permission from the Gampaha Magistrate Court to take him to the Balapitiya Magistrate Court. The Gampaha Magistrate instructed that the suspect be presented in court on the nearest possible date to fulfill the bail conditions related to the first case. Following this, Thisara Danayakara was taken back to the Mahara prison. Former Western Provincial Council member Salochana Gamage and Dushanta Dinesh Ratnayaka have been further remanded until January 27th. That was after being produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court. They were arrested while allegedly accepting a bribe of 9 million rupees to facilitate compensation for a plot of land in Torrington Avenue, which had been handed over to the Urban Development Authority. They were arrested by a group of officials of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. Former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia Udayanga Weeratunga, who was in remand custody on charges of assaulting and injuring a neighbour, was released on bail today. The suspect was released by the Nugegoda magistrate on a cash bail of 10,000 rupees and 2 surety bails.
The Ministry of Power announced this afternoon that the implementation of the electricity tariff revision that was recommended by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka will be carried out according to the guidelines of the Ministry of Finance. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka recommended a 20% reduction in electricity tariffs effective from midnight today.
The Public Utilities Commission convened this morning and made a final decision regarding the revision of electricity tariffs. The recommendations were announced at a press conference by the Commissioner's Director of Communications, Jainath Herath.
The decision was taken to reduce the electricity end user tariff by 20% overall reduction. This decision was taken after considering the initial proposal by CEB to continue the existing tariff for next 6 months starting from January to June, and also the counter proposal drafted by the permanent staff of the Public Utilities Commission, quoting that the 11%, at least 11% decrease is possible, as well as all the public views gathered, collected through the written submission and the oral sessions we conducted island-wide, covering all the provinces, 9 provinces. Starting from December 27, we concluded the final session of the oral session in Western Province on 10th January. So we received approximately 400 submissions supporting or based on the CEB proposal and the PUCSL proposal. So after considering these proposals, as well as in compliance with the tariff methodology and the Section 30 of the Sri Lanka Electricity Act, as well as the Section 17 of the Sri Lanka Public Utilities Commission Act, the Commission took a final decision with effect from midnight today to reduce the 20% in end user tariff for next 6 month period. This decision has really reduced the overall reduction of 20%, but different rates for the different categories, starting from domestic sector 20%, and within the domestic sector the sub category of 0 to 30 units consumption block will have a 29% decrease, and between 31 to 60 unit range they will have a 28% decrease, and above 61 up to 90 the decrease is 19%, and between 91 to 180 the decrease is 18%. More than 180 units in domestic sector, if their consumption is more than 180, they still receive a 19% decrease. Also public sector has a 11% decrease, and the hotel sector 31% decrease, and industrial sector 31%, and religious sector will have a 21%, and street light the reduction is 11% decrease. Overall decrease is 20% decrease. With this decrease in domestic sector, if any category, say the 30 units consumption, which has a current monthly bill of 280 rupees, will be reduced up to 195 by 30%. If their consumption is 60 units, based on today price, the bill is 700 rupees, and it will go down up to 500 rupees by 29%. And for example, if we touch on like high end users like 300 unit who are having the current bill of 14,660 rupees will be reduced up to 11,900 rupees. So another example, say 150 unit consumption consumer who have the current bill of 5,460 rupees will be reduced up to 4,170 rupees by 24%. Also, there are decreases for the different categories of the industrial, hotel, and both the rental and the unit prices have been reduced, especially for the category below 60 units per month. Also, there is another special approval for the LECO area, starting from Nigampur to Gol. The LECO distribution area had proposed a prepaid optional tariff, which will be implemented somewhere in late March or early April. Those who opt for a prepaid system, they can pop up their amount so that they could really have a kind of control over the electricity bill. So LECO has promised to implement it by somewhere early April or late March.
This afternoon, the Ministry of Power issued a statement regarding this matter. The ministry indicated that the implementation of the Public Utilities Commission's recommendations will be carried out according to the guidelines of the Ministry of Finance once the official recommendations are received.
There is now a public discourse building up with regards to digital identity cards. The Newsfirst digital team delved deeper into this matter.
What is actually the digital ID?
digital ආර්ථිකයකට යනකොට බේස් එක තමයි digital ID එක.
ඇඟිලි සලකුණුයි මගේ ඇහි කණිනිකාවයි මූණේ පෙනුමයි ඒව ගන්න.
data protection කියන එක ලෝකෙ දැන් සම්මත බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. පිටරට ගිහින් තියෙනවා.
පිටරට තියෙන ඒවා ඔක්කොම
අයිරු පිටරට ගිහින්
ඔයා පිටරට මානසික මුල්ලක් නේද?
අයිරු පිටරට ගිහින් තියෙනවා.
ඔයා මානසික නෑ මම ගිහිල්ලා නෑ.
ඉන්දියාවට අපි දෙනවා පර්මිෂන් එකක් ලංකාවේ ඉන්න සියලු ජනතාවගේ විද්‍යුත් හැඳුනුම්පත් නිකුත් කිරීම සඳහා.
ලංකාවේ ජනතාවගේ ජීවදත්ත පමණක් නෙවෙයි ජෛව මිතික ලක්ෂණ අඩංගු වෙනවා. ඉන්දියානු සමාගමකට ලබා දෙනකොට ඒකේ අර්ථය තමයි රටේ ජනතාවගේ සියලු දත්ත ඉන්දියාව සතු වෙනවා කියන්නේ.
Some say that the digital ID is bad for Sri Lanka. Some say that the digital ID is good for Sri Lanka. And some doesn't have any idea about it. But what does actually the Sri Lankan people think about the digital ID in Sri Lanka? Let's have a look.
Young age එකක් විදිහට අපි digitalize කරනවා නම් කැමති. අපි කැමති ඉතින් අපේ රට digitalize ඉස්සරහට යනවා නම්.
ඔයාලා කියන්න කියලා තමයි මම දන්නේ. නැත්තම් අපි දන්නේ නැහැ අතටම.
I have experienced this out of the country, so it's really working. I'm sure it's going to work here.
ගැන අදහසක් නැහැ දන්නේ නැහැ ගැන.
කරනවා පිළිගන්න බෑ දැන් මේ ලංකාව විතරක් නෙමෙයිනේ. ඔයලා ලෝකෙ දැන් දිනුනුයි. හරිද දැන් ඕවා එන්න ඕනේ ඉස්සරහට. අලුත් ටෙක්නොලොජි එක එන්න ඕනේ.
අයිඩියා ගන්න නැහැ. අලුත් අයිඩින් නේනවා. හොඳයි.
එහෙම නෑ අදහසක් නෑ තාම ඒක.
ඉතින් ආපු දවසේ හැමදේම කරනවානේ. කීප එකක්වත් තාම කරලා නැහැ.
That's what the Sri Lankans think about the digital identity card. In a lot of countries, they use it. But what is actually the digital identity card?
Digital කරන්නේදී ක්‍රම තුනක් අපි යෝජනා කරනවා අනන්තාවේ ඔප්පු කරන්න. එකක් තමයි තමන්ගේ ඇඟිලි සලකුණ, තමන්ගේ මූණේ හැඩරුව සහ තමන්ගේ ඇහි කළු ඉංගිරියාවේ තියෙන හැඩරුව. ඉතින් මේ ක්‍රම තුන හරහා තමයි තමන් ඕනම කෙනෙක් ශ්‍රී ලංකා පුරවැසියෙක් තමන්ගේ අනන්තාවේ ඔප්පු කරන්න අනාගතයේදී පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. පද්ධතිය හදන්න විශාල වියදමක් යනවා. රුපියල් බිලියන ගත්තාම බිලියන 20කට විතර ආසන්න වියදමක් යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකෙන් 50%ක් විතර ඉන්දියානු ආධාර ක්‍රමයක් අපිට වුන් දෙන්න ආධාරයක් දෙන්න සූදානම් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි ඒ ආධාරය හරහා ඒකෙන් විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් අපි පියවා ගන්න අපි බලාපොරොත්තු.
Will the safety of personal data be ensured?
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ ජීවදත්ත දාන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේ පද්ධතියේ තියෙන සියලුම access ඔක්කොම අපේ රජයට විතරක් තියෙන්න ඕන. එතනින් එහාට ඉන්දියානු සමාගම් වලට මේ පද්ධතියට ඇතුළු වීමට කිසිම අවසරයක් නැහැ.
අපි මේ කියන තාක්ෂණික පරිවර්තනයට යනකොට අපි තොරතුරු තාක්ෂණ පද්ධතීන් සමග තමයි ගනුදෙනු කරන්න යන්නේ. අපි දැනට භාවිතා වන ඩෙන්ටිටි කාඩ් එක ඒක අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්න වෙන්නේ තවත් පුද්ගලයෙකු සමග. අපිට හැකියාව තියෙන්නේ ඩිජිටල් පද්ධතිය සමග ගනුදෙනු කරන්න. මෙමණි ඩිජිටල් පද්ධතියක් නම් තියෙන්නේ අපි බැංකුවකට ගියාම අපිට ඩෙන්ටිටි කාඩ් පෙන්වන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ. ෆින්ගර් ප්‍රින්ට් එක තියුවා ඒ සිස්ටම් එක අඳුර ගන්නවා මේ ආවේ අහවලා කියලා.
Numerous past administrations attempted to implement a digital identity card in Sri Lanka, yet we still have the normal version of it. What will happen to this new initiative? Let's wait and see.
News First with the people.
Acting IGP Priyantha Veerasurya stated that under the new government policies, organised criminals will no longer receive political protection. He made this statement during a special press conference held today at the Government Information Department to explain the police's role under the new government agenda.
සම්පූර්ණ දේශපාලනය කරණය වෙච්ච පොලිසියක් තියෝනේ. ඒකේ මුල් බැහැගත් අවස්ථාව තමයි පූර්වගාමී පොලිස්පතිතුමෙක් කිව්වා ස්ථානාධිපතිව පත් කරේ ප්‍රසිද්ධ ප්‍රකාශයක් කරා ඔබතුමාලගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයට තමයි පත් කරේ කියලා. එහෙම පත් කරපු කට්ටිය ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි. අපි දිනන අංශභාර ස්ථාන.
The police force has been heavily politicized in the past. A former IGP publicly stated that OICs were appointed based on political preferences. Many of these appointees were local officials contributing to the political entrenchment at the grassroots level. However, we are now changing this. Some officers misuse their authority and we are taking necessary actions against them. Over the past year, we have taken legal action against 3 assistant superintendents of police, 2 OICs and over 50 officers for criminal offences. The police are not above the law. Everyone is subject to it. The public's trust is essential for maintaining the police authority. Without it, the stability of the police force is compromised.
මේක අමල් ගත්තා. පොලිසිය නීතියට උඩින් නැහැ. හැම කෙනාම නීතියට යටත්. ඒ නිසා මම විශ්වාස කරන දේ තමයි අපිටත් සාමාන්‍ය නීතිය ඒ ආකාරයෙන්ම බලාත්මක. මහ ජනතාව විශ්වාස කරන තමයි පොලිසියේ බලය පවත්වාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. මහ ජනයා අවිශ්වාස කරන කාලය තුළ පොලිසියේ ස්ථාවරභාවයට පත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Acting IGP Veera Surya also addressed the Clean Sri Lanka initiative.
මහජනයා මං හිතන්නේ මේ අපි ගෙනියන වැඩ පිළිවෙලට කීප දෙනෙක් විරුද්ධ වුණත් බොහොමයක් දෙනා කැමති. මොකද යම් යම් පාර්ශවවල විරෝධයත් විවිධාකාර වූ
I believe that while a few may oppose our initiatives, the majority support them. Some opposition stems from misinformation spread through various media. However, after discussions, even those initially opposed have understood and accepted our goals. For example, bus owners and equipment suppliers have come forward to support us. The government has instructed us to raise public awareness over the next 3 months. We cannot rely solely on law enforcement. We need to change public perception positively. This change cannot be achieved through punishments or fines alone.
මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ධනාත්මක විදිහට මහජනයා වෙනස් වෙන්න ඕන කියන මතේ අපි ඉන්නේ. ඒකට වෙනස් වෙන්න ඕන දඬුවම් දීලවත් දවසේ පඩියට ගැලපෙන මාසේ පඩියට ගැලපෙන පරිදි දඩයක් හේතු කරලවත් නෙවෙයි.
Sri Lanka police discovered 2 T-56 firearms and a cache of ammunition in the areas of Ruhunuketha in Balikanda and Gotabaya in Mathura. Acting on information provided by the Special Investigation Unit of the Military Police, the police yesterday apprehended a Civil Defence Force soldier in the Ruhunuketha area of Balikanda. The soldier was found in possession of a T-56 firearm, a cache of ammunition and 18 bullets. The suspect is a 53-year-old individual. This arrest was made based on information provided by a previously detained suspect held under detention orders. During the investigation, the police also recovered a pistol and 13 rounds of ammunition. Meanwhile, in the Gotabaya area of Mathura, the police found another T-56 firearm and 60 bullets in a house. The discovery was made during a raid conducted by the Police Narcotics Bureau this morning following a tip-off. The police also arrested a tour guide who had kept the firearm in the house. Additionally, the police reported finding a Galkatas type firearm and 2 rounds of ammunition in another house.
75 T-56 firearms have gone missing from a single camp. Investigations are ongoing. We believe these weapons are still out there. Just yesterday, we recovered 2 T-56 firearms, one of which was taken from a Civil Defence Force officer who was on duty. This situation is extremely complex, as it sometimes involves military personnel and police officers. These matters cannot be taken lightly. As you mentioned, there have been instances where certain officers have provided assistance. We are minimizing these occurrences and will conduct future criminal investigations with the utmost transparency.
අපරාධ විමර්ශනයක් සිදු කරගෙන යනවා.
The Acting Inspector General of Police revealed information regarding the seizure of money and property obtained through drug trafficking.
Yesterday, the Police Narcotics Bureau seized money and property obtained through drug trafficking. I believe this is the largest amount of cash ever found in recent police history, totaling 283.3 million rupees. These drug traffickers are currently in prison, yet they continue to operate their drug networks from behind bars. The income from this network amounts to 283.3 million rupees, which we found stored in a safe. We will provide you with video clips of the operation. Additionally, we have seized 2 vehicles. These items were hidden in a very rural area, in a house that one would never suspect.
In the heart of Varnala in Kantale lies the story of Pansal Godella, a tale of broken promises and shattered dreams.
What happened to the village?
This is the story of Pansal Godella in Varnala in Kantale. Years ago, hope was kindled with the promise of a tank that would collect water from the Kantale project and bring life to the villages in 7 divisions. An acre of land was chosen and the first steps were taken with the construction of a staff quarters and a pumping station. A grand tower was built, meant to support the tank that would quench the thirst of many. The work on the tank began with scaffolding and binding wires, but it's been over 12 years now. They still haven't managed to pour the concrete. Can a tank be built on these rusted iron now? The staff quarters and the pumping station collapsed before they could even be opened.
මේවා කරන්න බැරි නම් ගාම සේවා වශයෙන්කට එක වී වේලන යන්ත්‍ර ගානේ හතක් හදලා දෙන්න තරම් තිබුණු මහා ජලස්කන්ධයන් මේ නැති නාස්ති කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ වරෙන් උඩ මේ සීඩින් කඩා වැටිලා මේ රජේ සතු සල්ලි නේද මේවා මිනිසුන්ගේ සල්ලි නෙමෙයි. ඔල්ලතු වෙනගෙන ඉන්න ගෙවල් කීයක් තියෙනවද මේ අපේ සල්ලි නෙමෙයි. ඒ අපේ සල්ලි. පවුල් 100කට හදලා දෙන්න තිබ්බ ගෙවල් දරවන්නේ. මරණකම් මේ මිනිස්සු ජීවත් වෙනවා.
The project has cost the public around 150 million rupees. If they had spent that amount on cement and wires back then, how much would it cost to do this today? This is a tragedy.
What happened to the village?
In the heart of Polonnaruwa lies the village of Dimulagala Kajuvatha, where every corner tells a story of suffering. This is the Dimulagala Kajuvatha village in Polonnaruwa. Everywhere in the village, there are kidney disease patients. These villagers believe the main cause is contaminated water. There are no clean water sources in the village. This is the water they are forced to drink. This problem affects all 1,000 families in Kajuvatha. They are pleading for a common solution.
Government door to door.
European Union Election Observation Mission presented its final report on the 2024 presidential election in Sri Lanka, including recommendations for future elections. The final report urges Sri Lanka to repeal restrictive laws for free expression.
The European Union Election Observation Mission to Sri Lanka published its final report on the 2024 presidential election held on the 21st of September. The report is based on a 2-month-long country-wide observation and presents a detailed analysis and assessment of the entire electoral process. As part of this report, the mission offers 16 recommendations aimed at strengthening and refining future electoral processes in line with Sri Lanka's international commitments to democratic elections.
And the fact that the country has had the presidential elections and then the parliamentary elections signifies a real milestone, because it's meaning the country has come back to normality. The country has come back to the normal institutional electoral politics, overcoming this period of street protest, and we are very happy to having been witnesses of this process, this peaceful transition to this period, to the normal activity of the institution regarding elections.
The mission noted several positive developments, including significant reforms aimed at enhancing transparency and accountability in campaign finance and greater inclusion of youth in the voter lists. Overall, the mission concluded that the electoral legal framework is well developed and the collaborative engagement of the ECSL and civil society made a positive contribution to the election. Fundamental freedoms were respected throughout the campaign and voters had genuine political alternatives to choose from.
Meaning the campaign was absolutely peaceful and energetic. There was a real choice among different alternatives, and the general freedoms or the fundamental freedoms were absolutely respected. The voting day, the election day, was calm and well organized, and the staff, it was absolutely professional. I mean, the trend has been reassured. The country has come back to the normal institutional democracy procedures, and we are very happy because these 2 elections in a row means, okay, this is the new stance of the country, and you are going to a new elections. I'm sure that this election of the local bodies are going to be the same. I'm coming back with my team in 2 years. This is what we call the follow-up mission, meaning we have to assess what happened with our recommendations, because the political will is there. I'm sure we are being very happy in 2 years when we are being here to check what happened with our recommendations. But in the meantime, we encourage any institution of the state having capacity to deal with this recommendation to start the process as soon as possible.
The EU EOM final report recommends meaningful advancement of the participation of women in politics and strengthening of enforcement mechanisms against the misuse of state resources. The mission notes that the progressive reform of campaign finance would benefit from further fine-tuning. The EU EOM final report also calls for the protection of freedom of expression by repealing restrictive legislation, including the Online Safety Act and the Prevention of Terrorism Act, as well as further emphasizing the need to improve accessibility for voters with disabilities. The EU EOM was deployed at the invitation of Sri Lanka's Election Commission and the government of Sri Lanka and was present in the country from the 14th of August to the 10th of October 2024. It deployed over 70 international observers across all 9 provinces.
මේ වසන්තේ මේ ආරාධනය විසේකාර දඟකාර හැඩකාර කුමාරයන්ට සහ කෝල කොමල මනලෝල කුමාරයන්ටයි මේ වසන්තේ සිරස වසන්ත කුමරා සහ කුමරිය ලෙස කිරුළු පළඳින්න දැන්ම සැරසෙන්න වයස අවුරුදු 18ත් 25ත් අතර කුමාරයන් සහ කුමාරියන් මෑතකදී ගත් ඡායාරූපයක් සමග පෙබරවාරි 20 වෙනිදාට පෙර අයදුම් කරන්න. ලිපිනය නිෂ්පාදක සිරස වසන්ත කුමරා සහ කුමරිය ස්ටයින් ස්ටුඩියෝ බොරුපන පාර රත්මලාන. පිවිසෙන්න awurudu.sirasatv.lk.
නව යෞවනියන් නව ජවයකින් ක්‍රිකට් පිටියේ නව යුගයක් සටහන් කිරීමට සූදානම්. ICC වයස අවුරුදු 19න් පහළ කාන්තා T20 ලෝක කුසලාන ක්‍රිකට් තරඟාවලිය 2025 රටවල් 16ක් සාඩම්බර කුසලානයක් අලංකාර තරඟාවලියක් ජනවාරි 18 වෙනිදා සිට TV1 සමග රැඳෙන්න.
Welcome back. The US Embassy in Sri Lanka launched a new conservation project to protect the ancient Thuparama image house, a key site within the UNESCO World Heritage listed Polonnaruwa ancient city.
The US Embassy in Sri Lanka, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture and the Central Cultural Fund, launched a new conservation project to protect the ancient Thuparama image house, a key site within the UNESCO World Heritage listed Polonnaruwa ancient city. This initiative, funded by a 32 million rupee grant from the US Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation, reflects the United States' commitment to preserving Sri Lanka's cultural heritage for future generations. The event was attended by US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung and Minister of Thisara, Religious and Cultural Affairs Professor Hindenburg Research.
Since we launched the Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation in 2001 in Sri Lanka, we have supported 17 preservation projects worth over $1.5 million around Sri Lanka. Previous projects include documenting monasteries at the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Anura, protecting and revitalizing the Gal and Batiklo forts, and preserving 4 endangered traditional and indigenous ritual music and dance forms and related craftsmanship from the Adivasi, Tamil Hindu, and Buddhist community. Most recently, I was in Kandy just last month with the Honorable Minister to formally conclude our preservation work at the old Kandyan King's Palace and the refurbished Archaeology Museum. It would be a wonderful opportunity for both tourists and Sri Lankans alike to witness the 7,000 pieces of art, statues, drawings, and other historically significant items from the Kandyan period, all of which are now securely preserved for future generations to come. Today, we stand in front of a unique Buddhist image house constructed in the 12th century, belonging to the Gedige type the only monument among those in Anura where the original ancient roof is relatively well preserved. It is incredible to see the exteriors of the whole building decorated with stucco miniature shrines, as we just saw, elaborated with different carvings that depict the Dravidian influences in sculpture and the arts. All of these characteristics make this edifice a masterpiece in art and architecture of Sri Lanka's history, and of course, another way for tourists to enjoy and marvel at it. However, the passage of time has not been kind to this ancient masterpiece. So, in partnership with the Central Cultural Fund, today we launch our latest project focused on the preservation of this historic architectural masterpiece for future generations as a cultural historical monument and very sacred building for all Sri Lankans.
We consider Polonnaruwa Kingdom is very special national heritage. From this significant monumental heritage, Thuparama Image House is historic and important. This is one of the few and rare building structures where you can see a roof completely out of bricks. Miraculously, that's amazing thing. Miraculously, this image house and especially the roof have been survived over 900 years.
The Thuparama Image House, constructed in the 12th century as part of the Polonnaruwa Kingdom, is a monumental site with a distinctive vaulted brick roof and stunning stucco decorations. This historical gem has suffered damage over time due to environmental factors, and the preservation project aims to prevent further deterioration while raising awareness about its cultural and historical significance.
The Kudiyiruppu model village in Kilinochchi was inaugurated by the High Commission of India to Sri Lanka today.
The High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, and the Minister of Urban Development, Construction and Housing, Anura jointly inaugurated and handed over the Thiruvalluvar Kudiyiruppu model village in Kilinochchi to 24 beneficiary families.
I congratulate the 24 beneficiary families who are opening a new chapter in their lives today by transitioning to these houses. This project significantly contributes to fulfilling the housing needs of the recipients and fostering a stronger and more resilient society. Therefore, it finds a special place in the initiatives on both sides to further strengthen the unique people-to-people bonds shared by our two countries. It also adds another chapter to the impactful development partnership endeavors of India in Sri Lanka. If you look at the last 15 years, the largest number of projects that we have implemented in Sri Lanka have been in the northern province. Our support to the people here has been consistent, long-standing, and will remain unchanged.
This initiative is part of the Model Village Housing Project, which is being implemented with grant support from the Government of India. Under this project, model villages comprising 24 houses each are being constructed for low-income families in all 25 districts of Sri Lanka.
Starting from the 1st of February, the government is prepared to lift the ban on vehicle imports. What impact will this have on our country's vehicle market? Tonight we delve into the insights revealed during yesterday's expert panel discussion on the Mavata program.
On the 1st of March 2020, the government imposed restrictions on the importation of various goods, including vehicles. This decision was made in response to the economic crisis that had emerged in the country at that time. Sri Lanka was facing a shortage of both dollars and rupees. However, the government has now decided to lift the ban on vehicle imports, considering the gradual improvement in economic indicators and the need to expand the economy. The International Monetary Fund has also expressed positive feedback regarding the easing of vehicle import restrictions.
Currently, we are allowing the importation of commercial vehicles and motor vehicles excluding cars. The next step is to open up for commercial vehicles, followed by motor cars. We aim to complete this process by the 1st of February. We believe that motor vehicles will contribute to more than 1% of the gross domestic product.
What will be the prices of newly imported vehicles?
For a popular vehicle like the Toyota Aqua, the import tax will increase by 7 million. to 7.5 million rupees. For a Honda vessel, this import tax will increase by 8 to 8.5 million rupees. When combined with the purchase price from Japan, these vehicles will have a significant cost for the public. Currently, a middle-class person would need to spend 10 to 15 million rupees to buy a vehicle. For a new Honda vessel, the port price will be around 7.5 million rupees, with VAT adding another 8.5 to 9 million rupees. A V8 vehicle will cost around 110 million rupees, including taxes, with the tax alone being 8 million rupees.
Changes in the Japanese vehicle market were also highlighted.
Due to the economic crisis in Japan, vehicle prices have increased. It now takes about a year and a half to receive a newly ordered vehicle. This production delay has extended the time people use their vehicles before upgrading to a new one, from 3 years to 5 years.
However, the final decisions regarding the relevant taxes and other factors related to vehicle imports have not yet been announced. The Ministry of Finance expects to clarify these details before the 1st of February.
We are waiting to see the Gazette notification from the Ministry of Finance to understand the exact taxes we will face. We currently know about the excise duty and the 18% VAT. Once all tax types are included, we can provide an accurate calculation. We advise the public to be patient for a few more weeks until a clear tax policy is announced, which will open the market and bring competitive prices.
What will happen to the used vehicle market?
With the importation of vehicles, prices will stabilize to some extent. There are people who have kept their money after selling their vehicle at higher prices and are waiting to buy new ones. The government did not benefit from the increased prices of used vehicles. With new vehicle imports, the government can capture a significant amount of hidden money.
The unveiling of a STEM learning centre at St. Benedict's College, Colombo took place today.
St. Benedict's College, Colombo embraced 21st century learning with effect from today by unveiling its STEM Learning Centre at the college premises. STEM is an approach to learning and development that integrates the areas of science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Through STEM, students develop key skills including problem solving and creativity.
At St. Benedict's College, education has always been more than academic excellence. Our Lassallean values optimize in the words enter to learn, live to serve, reminds us that knowledge must be used in service to the others.
Sri Lanka's Minister of Science and Technology graced the event as the chief guest.
Our government's mission, as outlined in the policy document, Thriving Nation, a Beautiful Life, placing a strong emphasis on modernizing education to meet the challenges of the 21st century. The document underscores several critical pillars of reform: adopting student-centered approaches, equipping students with skills essential for innovation, cultivating general competencies such as technology, literacy, nurturing intellectual curiosity and critical thinking. Today, we witness the practical embodiment of these aspirations to the 21st century learning approach being implemented by the grade 6 students here at St. Benedict's. This new approach is far more than an update to the curriculum. This is a revolution in education.
The STEM Learning Centre is equipped with cutting-edge facilities to equip students for a technology-driven future.
Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, in partnership with the Global Hotel Alliance, launched an exclusive loyalty program in Colombo.
Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts announced the launch of Cinnamon Discovery, an innovative loyalty program developed in collaboration with the Global Hotel Alliance. This exclusive event marks a milestone as Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts become the first Sri Lankan hospitality brand to join Global Hotel Alliance Discovery. The strategic partnership places Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts among a prestigious portfolio of over 800 hotels across 40 brands in 100 countries, providing GHA's 30 million members with meaningful rewards and benefits.
The HSBC Salon Literary and Arts Festival opened at the Colombo Public Library.
The second edition of the HSBC Salon Literary and Arts Festival will take place from the 17th to the 19th January 2025 at the Colombo Public Library. The festival focuses on youth engagement with free student passes available and will spotlight Sri Lanka's cultural landscape on a global stage. The festival features over 32 sessions with more than 50 distinguished authors and artists, including Pulitzer Prize winners and Grisham Prize recipients and State Prize honours. It offers workshops, panel discussions and creative sessions across literature, art, film and youth development.
The US-based short seller, which had published reports accusing top financial entities in India and abroad of financial wrongdoings and fraud, is set to shut down. Nate Anderson, the founder of Hindenburg Research, announced on Wednesday that he was disbanding the company almost 8 years after starting it. The firm had made headlines in India in 2023 after publishing explosive reports about billionaire Gautam Adani's conglomerate, sparking political rows and major losses for the company. Started in 2017, Hindenburg Research shot to fame for exposing alleged financial irregularities in some big-name businesses. The firm's reports have led to businesses, both in India and abroad, losing billions of dollars in market value. In 2020, the company accused electric truck maker Nikola Corp of misleading investors about its technologies. In 2022, the company's founder Trevon Milton was found guilty of lying to investors and convicted of fraud. In 2023, it published a report accusing the Adani Group of decades of quote-unquote brazen stock manipulation and accounting fraud. Adani and his company denied the allegations, calling them malicious and an attack on India.
The official portraits of US President-elect Donald Trump and his second-in-command J.D. Vance have been released.
The official portraits of US President-elect Donald Trump and his second-in-command J.D. Vance have been released ahead of their inauguration on Monday. Both Trump and Vance are pictured in blue suits, white-collared shirts and blue ties, with Trump wearing a small US flag pin on his lapel. Trump's expression contrasts with Vance's, with the president-elect's head tilted slightly downward, one eyebrow raised and his lips pressed together. Vance smiles at the camera with his arms crossed in a more relaxed pose. The new image of Trump has drawn comparisons to his 2023 mugshot, which was taken in Fulton County Jail after he was charged with attempting to overturn his 2020 election loss to Joe Biden in the state of Georgia, a charge Trump denied.
The ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup 2025 is scheduled to kick off in Malaysia tomorrow. TV1 of the MTV Media Network is the official broadcaster of the ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup 2025. England defeated India to clinch the 2023 ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup in South Africa. In the upcoming tournament, 16 teams will be grouped into 4 categories. Sri Lanka, led by Manudinane Akkara, will compete in Group A alongside India, West Indies and Malaysia. Group B will feature England, Ireland, the United States of America and Pakistan. In Group C, New Zealand, Nigeria, Samoa and South Africa will play. Australia, Bangladesh, Nepal and Scotland will face off in Group D. The tournament will kick off with 6 games on the opening day. Sri Lanka will play their first match of the tournament against Malaysia on Sunday, with the game set to begin at 8 a.m. local time. The final match of the tournament is scheduled for the 2nd of February. The MTV Media Network is the official broadcaster broadcaster of the ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup 2025.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1.
Thank you for watching. Good night.